North Korean leader Kim Jong Un arrived in Russia earlier today, where he is expected to meet President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin has been sparse with meetings or details about that meeting, only saying that it would be a comprehensive discussion between the two leaders. U.S. officials say the talks will likely include North Korea providing Russia with weapons for its war in Ukraine, among other topics. The State Department says that could violate or would violate UN Security Council resolutions. For more, let's bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tyab. Imtiaz, talk to us about what this would mean for Russia and North Korea, respectively, if the two leaders met and if such a deal is done.
Lilia, good to be with you, and you can probably hear the sound of air raid sirens blaring in the background, and it really just underscores the fact that this conflict is ongoing and it continues to be very deadly and very scary for so many Ukrainians. But what this deal means, potential deal between North Korea and Russia, well, it means that much of the horrors that we've been seeing across Ukraine for the last 18 months since Vladimir Putin's unprovoked invasion will continue. Why? Vladimir Putin desperately needs more munitions. He wants things that North Korea, a very impoverished country, has a huge surplus of. And this is anything from missiles to artillery. And remember, this is really a kind of war of attrition, where when you consider just the vast quantities of munitions that both sides have been using in the millions, that this is something that Vladimir Putin desperately needs and North Korea can offer. Now, what is in this for North Korea? As we've been saying, a very poor country. Russia can provide things like food. This is a country where the UN says around 10 million people do not have enough food to eat. 10 million people, so that food aid definitely needed. But Russia can also offer things like hard cash as well, something North Korea is in very short supply of. But I think when it comes to the North Korean leader, Kim Jong Un, what he wants from Russia, and this is potentially what's being negotiated at this very moment, is he wants advanced weapons technology. North Korea just launched a nuclear submarine. They will want technology for that. They have spy satellites. They want technology for that. And these are things Russia potentially could provide. Lilia.
Imtiaz, talk to us about what Western observers are watching closely. Besides this exchange of weapons, what other meaning can we derive from these two leaders coming together?
I think what they're looking at is the calculus that Vladimir Putin is making now that he's essentially been backed into a corner. You have to remember, Russia is a wealthy country, a powerful country, but over the last 18 months, ever since, again, Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, Western countries have turned their back on Russia. Other countries are under huge amounts of pressure not to deal with Russia, and Russia is under huge amounts of sanctions, really damaging their economy. And so what Western observers, particularly the White House, is looking at is what kind of allies Vladimir Putin is trying to align himself with. And the fact that he's aligning himself with North Korea, or at least attempting to, that is of concern given how unpredictable North Korea is. This is a country which routinely threatens nuclear violence across the Korean peninsula. It threatens South Korea, it threatens Japan, and that is, of course, something very worrying. And now that Vladimir Putin is potentially entering into a very close relationship with North Korea, that is certainly causing alarm.
So talk to us about also the significance of seeing Kim Jong Un traveling to Russia to meet Putin. What else should we read into that?
It's pretty astonishing to see Kim Jong Un, who hasn't left his country in 4 years since the COVID-19 pandemic, travel on this green train, which really underscores sort of the paranoia and secrecy of North Korea. It moves very, very slowly. It's very heavy. But really what it tells us is that Kim Jong Un is determined to make some kind of a deal and wants to walk into any outstretched arms, including Vladimir Putin's. Lilia.
Wow. Imtiaz, thank you.